Oh hi, thanks for watching my video. So, the new trailer for City Living 2.0 just dropped, so I thought today we would take a look and see what this new pack is all about. I'm guessing most of you have already seen the trailer in its entirety, so I'm just going to pull up clips that seem relevant. I actually spotted a few features here and they're referenced in several parts of the trailer, so it might seem a bit jumbled, but I'm just trying to link the relevant bits together. So in the first few seconds we see a glimpse of the new world, which looks like it's a Thai-inspired world. And the first thing I noticed was the 3 little boats docked on the river, and then the next shot shows this area here. I'm intrigued to find out what this building is here with the rowboat next to it. If I were optimistic, I would guess that this building could be used to hire boats. Usually though, I like to steer away from optimism because I've been playing The Sims 4 for a while now. But it would make sense because later on in the trailer, and I know I'm skipping ahead a bit here, we do see Sims using boats. So I'm curious to see whether Sims actually have to own a boat like in Island Living, or if anyone can just go and rent a boat anytime. Could be a good date night idea. And on the other side of the road there's a load of stands and stools, and based on the clips later in the trailer it looks like they're all functional. We can see one of them is a meat stand, and it looks like there are items for sale in various others, so I think this is probably going to be quite a lively area in this world, kind of like a night market or something. We also see this dragon in the trailer, and I'm not too sure what it's meant to be, but my guess is that it could be used to make wishes, you know, kind of like the little tree in Snowy Escape. It looks like we'll be getting a few new activities for children as well. We can see kids using a hopscotch and playing marbles. This makes me quite happy. It's nice to see something for kids that isn't just a copy and paste of the same old doll's house and activity table, although I won't be surprised if we get them too. And this clip here I found interesting. It's hard to see what she's actually holding up. It looks like some kind of police badge, but it also has a paw print on it. I did read that this pack would come with botanical gardens and an animal sanctuary, although they're not referenced in the trailer. But I think that this is probably a pass to the sanctuary, but there was a moment where I thought it could be related to the police. And on a separate note, I do think it would make sense to add this NPC to base game before this pack is released. Get to Work already introduced police officers, but only from the perspective of the active household. There is no option to call the police in-game, so as a regular household, chances are you'll probably never encounter the police. But the trailer for the new pack clearly shows a sim breaking into someone else's home, so if you play as a household that has been burgled, you should be able to call the police. So I think it would make a lot of sense to add police to base game as this pack gets released. I'm also really hoping that burglaries don't just happen when you play as the active burglar. I hope that burglaries can happen to your active household as well. It looks like there are a few new ways to be a bad sim with this pack, which makes me happy. Given that the main theme of this pack is having multiple households live in the same building, it comes as no surprise that there are a few ways to fuck around with your neighbours and cause a lot of trouble. In addition to being able to rob people, the trailer shows a sim listening in to her neighbours' secrets, gossiping about them with other sims, and blackmailing her neighbours for money to keep her mouth shut. I think I'm going to enjoy this gameplay feature. Probably the biggest selling point of this pack, and the main thing that separates it from City Living, is that instead of living in a pre-built apartment as a tenant only, now you can build and customise your own apartment complexes and play as either the tenant or the landlord. Whilst we don't know everything yet about what being a landlord involves, the trailer does give us a few insights on what to expect. As a landlord, we can expect to listen to tenant complaints, like having damp or a leak in their apartment, which I assume goes both ways. Similarly to City Living, I imagine if you play as a tenant, there will also be random apartment issues rearing their ugly head that you'll need to complain about. Landlords will be responsible for repairing things like fixing the water tank or restoring power after a blackout. But other than fixing a few things around the property, there doesn't seem to be much else involved in being a landlord, which I suppose is a good thing. I mean, most Sims have jobs, so if your Sim also happens to be a landlord, you wouldn't want it to be completely life-consuming. But I would have liked to see a bit more, like what happens if a tenant can't pay rent? Would you have to evict them? Would your landlord suffer financial losses by a tenant who can't pay? They didn't really show anything like that. And also, the landlord in the trailer actually lives in the same property. So we don't know yet if it's possible to live in a separate lot and own multiple apartment complexes. Given that City Living already exists, and that pack came with loads of possible apartment issues like rats, bug infestations, hauntings and leaks, the Sims team are giving us a few new apartment issues like power cuts, as I mentioned before, and mould, which brings a brand new death type to the game. It's always nice to have a new death type. And I noticed in the trailer that the ghost Sim who died of mould was doing something. I don't know what he was doing. It kind of looked as if he was able to infect another Sim from beyond the grave, or whatever it was, but it looked pretty interesting. The trailer also shows some of the new build and buy items in the background, but given that it's an expansion pack, we've come to expect that obviously it will come with new items. Gameplay wise though, the main ones I noticed was the kettle and the rice cooker, just before we were shown a range of new dishes that'll be added. The kid stuff like hopscotch and the marbles, and the dragon statue and shrine. Usually though, if a new expansion pack comes with items that feature gameplay, the trailer makes a whole song and dance about it. So as that's all that was shown object-wise, I don't think there'll be much in terms of new interactable objects. I do like the scene with all the neighbours by the pool, because that means that you can build and customise your own communal areas as well, and not just have hallways to the apartments and that's it. So I think that could inspire some creativity. Didn't see any elevators. Overall, I'm quite curious about this pack. It doesn't sit well with me how similar it is to City Living though. And this would be the second pack in a row now that's basically a different version of the same thing. You know, like Horse Ranch and Cottage Living. Even the area of the map that shows all of the food stalls and the active nightlife, it still just looks like San Myshuno to me. They even show the same food challenge in the trailer. If I looked at this screenshot at a quick glance, I'd think it was a San Myshuno festival. I'm just a bit torn really, because in some ways I'm tired of the same things being replicated again and again. But in another way, I am looking forward to some of the features here, like the interesting ways to make money, stealing from your neighbours and selling their stuff, and running an apartment complex as a landlord has the potential to rake in thousands. So I am looking forward to the money-making aspects of gameplay in this pack. I'm excited to build my own apartment, and I'm looking forward to using the new kids activities. And if the boat hire thing is actually featured, then I'd probably enjoy that as well. I don't see much in terms of careers, so I'm guessing that the active landlord role is probably all there is in that category. And if that's the case, then I think this could be another one where I suggest to wait until it's half price in my review. I don't want to speak too soon, but I just don't see an awful lot for an expansion pack. Like I said, there are features here that I'm definitely interested in and looking forward to exploring, but I'm not sure that there's hours of fun to be had here. Based on the trailer alone, I think you could probably explore all of the gameplay features in just a few hours. But as always, I hope I'm wrong. I'm interested to know what you think of the trailer for the new pack. Have you noticed things that I haven't noticed? I'd love to know in the comments. How do we feel about a landlord pack? And on that note, I think I'm going to end this video here. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe, you know I love it when you do that. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.